Hello everyone, welcome in this video for amino acid catabolism. In this video, we will see the catabolism of phenylalanine and tyrosine. So, let us see in detail the catabolism of phenylalanine and tyrosine. So, first of all, see this is the structure of phenylalanine and tyrosine. It's aromatic amino acids. So phenylalanine, it's just denoted by the PHE, okay? It's the symbol of phenylalanine. It's a F, the first letter is F, okay? And here the tyrosine is denoted by TYR, the first three letters. And here you can see the Y, it's a symbol for tyrosine. Now the structure, see the structure of phenylalanine. So this is the structure of phenylalanine here. The CH2, CH, NH3 and COO. Here just see what is the difference between the structure of phenylalanine and tyrosine. So here just one additional OH group is there at a fourth position. Okay, at a fourth position we can set a para position. There is a presence of hydroxyl group. It's a difference between the structure of phenylalanine and tyrosine. So in a chemically, if we want to say, we can say tyrosine is a para hydroxyl phenylalanine. Okay, because at para position, ortho, meta and para, it's at a para position of this group it is there. They are for hydroxyphenylalanine. Now we will see the predominant metabolism of phenylalanine occurs through tyrosine. Means we will get obviously tyrosine, okay, from phenylalanine. So tyrosine is incorporated into the proteins and it's involved in a synthesis of a variety of biologically important compounds like epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine, we can say the catecholamines, thyroid hormones and the pigment melanin. So now just see the phenylalanine is converted to tyrosine and we can say from tyrosine we can get a protein and from tyrosine we can get a melanin, which we can say it will generate a black coloration of our skin, hair and eye. Then dopamine, it's just a neurotransmitter of a central nervous system. Norepinephrine, epinephrine, it's the hormones of adrenal medulla. And the thyroxine, we can say the T3 and T4 are the thyroid hormones which will generated by the thyroid gland. So now see the synthesis of tyrosine from phenylalanine. First, here we have to study the synthesis of tyrosine, then the degradation of, we can say, phenylalanine as well tyrosine, or we have to study the synthesis of the hormones like a thyroid hormones, the thyroid hormones like hormone T3 and T4. Now see the structure of phenylalanine. So this is a structure of phenylalanine. So what happened ultimately over here? Just see, with the help of phenylalanine hydroxylase, okay, when we will use the enzyme that is a phenylalanine hydroxylase, our phenylalanine will convert into thyroxine, means we can say the para hydroxyphenylalanine. Okay, hydroxylase will insert OH group over here at a para position of phenylalanine. At that time what happened, the tetrahydrobiopterin, okay, this is a coenzyme which is used is a biopterin. So it's a tetrahydrobiopterin. So tetrahydrobiopterin which convert into dihydrobiopterin, and from dihydrobiopterin, okay, we can again generate a tetrahydrobiopterin. So what happened ultimately in this reaction, what we can say is when there is a presence of phenylalanine hydroxylase, there is a conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Okay, so at that time what happened, the O2, okay, from H2 it will utilize one oxygen and it will convert this structure. After that, when there is a regeneration, okay, of dihydro, okay, of tetrahydrobiopterin from dihydrobiopterin, okay, we will use one enzyme, it's a dihydrobiopterin reductase. Okay, at that time, okay, we have to do the reduction, and at that time what happened, the NADPH2 will convert into NADP. So it's just a very simple reaction that is occurred by phenylalanine hydroxylase and we will get a tyrosine. Now we will see the degradation of tyrosine as well the biosynthesis of thyroid hormone. So how we can see the degradation of tyrosine? So just see, first there is a phenylalanine, okay, so this, as we have seen, phenylalanine will convert into the tyrosine. Now what happened, this tyrosine, okay, with the help of the enzyme tyrosine transaminase. Now as we have seen in the above video, okay, transamination means what? There is a conversion of our amino acid to keto acids. So what happened? This tyrosine, okay, at that time what happened? This NH3 will convert into this carbonyl group, means there is a conversion of amino acid to keto acid, and we will get a phenyl, means alanine. We can say it's a para-hydroxyphenyl alanine, or we can say the pyruvate. Okay, so here we are getting from tyrosine, okay, we are getting the phenyl, means para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate. Now see, after that there is a degradation of this molecule, okay, with the help of the ascorbate. The ascorbate will convert into this, okay, and with the help of the enzyme para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate deoxygenate, okay, there is a presence of copper. In the presence of copper, okay, with the help of the enzyme deoxygenase, okay, we will get homogentisate. Okay, we will get a homogentisate. It's nothing, just there is a addition of one OH group over here, addition of one OH group over here, okay, and removal of CO group. So CO2 plus H2O is removed, okay, CO2 is removed, CO group is removed, and OH is added. So there is a generation of the compound, it's a homogentisate. Now from homogentisate we will get a 4-methyl acetoacetate. Okay, this is with the help of the enzyme homogentisate oxidase. We will get a 4-methyl acetoacetate. Now from that what happened? Okay, this is nothing, just there is a rewritten of the reaction of the, there is nothing but the rewritten of the structure of molecule. Okay, so we can open the ring. Okay, we have to write the structure in the other way. So hydrocarbon chain, so it's like this. This is just nothing, the same structure. Now with the help of the enzyme methyl acetoacetate isomerase, okay, so when there is a isomerase in enzyme, okay, we can say there is a process, it's isomerism. So it will generate the 4-fumaryl acetoacetate. Now after 4-fumaryl acetoacetate, with the help of the enzyme fumaryl acetoacetate hydrolase, okay, we are getting two structures at the end of this, okay, degradation. It's a fumarate and acetoacetate. Okay, so this is our end product, it's a fumarate and acetoacetate. Now what happened? Whatever fumarate is there, okay, it will come to the TCA cycle, okay, TCA cycle of carbohydrate, and it will generate glucose, which will use, okay, as an energy, and acetoacetate will come, means it will generate the fat. Now we will see the metabolism of tyrosine as a synthesis of thyroid hormones. So two syntheses, okay, to generate a thyroid hormones. There is a active iodine, okay, this tyrosine residue, obviously it's a tyrosine residue. So from that, with the help of, okay, the H2O2 and I plus, it's active iodine, there will be a 2 structure, means addition of I2, okay, it will form a tyroglobulin and, okay, see over here, monoiodotyrosine and diiodotyrosine. Okay, from tyrosine residue there will be with the help of H2O2 and iodine, there will be a formation of 2 structure. It's a monoiodotyrosine and diiodotyrosine, means one structure have 1 iodine and other structure have a 2 iodine. Now again what happened? With the help of the triiodothyramine, okay, we will get a T3 and T4, okay, by again the same molecule, okay, a proteolysis reaction, and again one I is added into the product, we can say into the reactant. So we are getting the product, it's a triiodothyronine and thyroxine, it's a T3 and T4. So this is how we can see the metabolism of tyrosine and the synthesis of thyroid hormone. So from tyrosine we will get a T3 and T4. Okay, now we will see the deficiency, the metabolic defects of phenylalanine and tyrosine. If the level of phenylalanine and tyrosine will change in our body, then which kind of defects we will observe? So first is phenylketonuria. So what is phenylketonuria? Okay, so in urine, okay, there is a presence of this structure, Now see, we will see in detail. It is a genetic condition, okay, that causes an amino acid called phenylalanine to build up in our body, because phenylalanine will stop the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Generally what happened, from phenylalanine there is a conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. So now it's not happened. So what happened, phenylalanine will increase in the urea. Okay, so phenylalanine is found in all protein and some artificial sweeteners, we can say. So when this kind of defect we can observe, so when there is a deficiency of phenylalanine hydroxylase, okay, we can say that this kind of deficiency will occur. Okay, so because there is no conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine, so we can say this kind of deficiency will occur. Okay, now see, some symptoms of phenylketonuria is there, like if we find the seizures, tremors, the hyperactivity, okay, we can say this stunted growth, then skin disorders like we can say eczema, okay, and the dirty odors, musty odors of the red skin and urine, then we can say there is something else which we are found, it's a phenylketonuria. Now we can see the next is alkaptonuria. So what is alkaptonuria? See, we can say when we observe some different kind of urine, means what, when urine will be oxidized and it will form a black color, okay, it's known as the condition, it's alkaptonuria. So alkaptonuria is a rare inherited disorder. Okay, it occurs when the body can't produce enough enzyme. Which enzyme? It's a homogestinic dioxidase. Okay, and this enzymes break down toxic substance, it's called homogestinic acid. So at that time we can find the alkaptonuria like condition. So what happened, when we will observe the dark stains, okay, on the baby's diaper, okay, are the one of the signs of alkaptonuria. And there are few other symptoms during the childhood, like some symptoms, okay, you can obviously observe by your age. Urine may turn black, or you can say dark brown, okay, when it's exposed to air, as I said, okay. So, or we can say the osteoarthritis, okay, is the symptom. We can say big pain and the pain in the joints, okay, there is a symptom of alkaptonuria. Then the next very high, okay, thing that can occur, it's a tyrosinemia. So in tyrosinemia, body doesn't have an enzyme which is a fumarate acetoacetate hydrolase, okay, so to metabolize tyrosine. Okay, so when there is a deficiency of this enzyme, we can observe the tyrosinemia. Okay, so we can see the symptom, like it will happen in two categories, the acute as well chronic. So in acute tyrosinemia, what happened, the babies experience the symptoms, okay, months of the birth, okay, in a 1 to 2 months or 2 to 3 months. So they may not gain weight properly, or we can say there will be a enlarged liver we can find, enlarged spleen we can find, or swell on abdomen will happen. Okay, these are the symptom, or other liver disease we can find. And in chronic, after 6 months, okay, the baby will find other liver disease or severe conditions of enlargement of liver and spleen, okay, and the abdomen is distended with the fluid, and the children may have a trouble gaining weight, okay, and it may find the chronic conditions of the liver. So this all are about the metabolism, we can say catabolism of phenylalanine and tyrosine. So, okay, thank you dear learners for watching the video.